everybody, welcome back. So today we are going to do a super beginner class. So you've never been to a yoga class before and you're interested in going to a yoga class, but you don't know how to get into the moves. So today I'm going to show you 5 basic moves that every beginner yogi needs, and then next week we'll go through the other 5. So just welcome. My name is Rebecca, and today, like I said, it's super beginner. So you will need a yoga mat or a beach towel, or if you just want to do it on the carpet, you can do it on the carpet. You will need a chair and a set of yoga blocks. If you don't have a set of yoga blocks, you can use a couple books or something like that. Also a blanket if you want some extra support under your knees. So the first move that every yogi needs to know is a runner's lunge. So what you're doing is you're bringing your leg to a 90-degree angle. Your foot is facing forward. Your back foot is lifted up, and they're like a set of railroad tracks, and your knee is lifted. I'm going to show modifications throughout the video. Like I said, we're only going to do 5 poses. So you always want to make sure that this knee is not over your ankle. So you're not wanting to lunge into the lunge. You want to keep it straight up and down. And what a runner's lunge is you're leaned over and your hands are on the opposite sides of your foot and you're looking down. Okay, so this is a runner's lunge, and a lot of times they'll have you go into down dog and then you'll switch. Okay, so what you're wanting is you're wanting this hip flexor to be level and pushing back while you're pushing back, and you want to make sure that your torso is completely forward and straight. So see, my foot is a little over. Okay, so for the modifications, I'm going to grab my blanket. So I'll do it with my left foot forward. So a lot of people have problems with sore knees, or they just can't get into this position. So I'm going to show you how to do the low lunge in completely modification with the blanket. So same concept. Your leg is at a 90-degree angle. Okay, and you're just going to bring your this is my right knee, back. And it's just going to sit on the blanket. And what it's doing is it's giving me just a little bit of extra support. Like I said, if you have any pain in your knees or anything like that, the blanket is wonderful. So again, you want your torso facing forward, and the legs need to be like on a railroad tracks. They need to be parallel. So you need to check yourself. You can look back at this foot too. So this would be a modified runner's lunge. Okay, you can also scoot your blanket back if you want a little bit deeper of the modification. You can scoot it back, and then maybe instead of going into down dog, you can bring your knees to meet each other. You could spread your blanket out wide enough to where you can keep your knee on the blanket. Okay, so again, 90-degree angle, 45-degree angle total. Okay, torso rotated forward. You don't want to be off axis. Okay, and you want to try to keep a flat back position. So if your hands cannot reach the surface, you can put your blocks on either side as well, and you're going to bring yourself up off of low lunge or runner's lunge, up off the earth. So this is total modification. You can bring your blocks up higher as well. So you're in a total low lunge modification, and this is perfectly all right. Yoga is not about being deep. I mean, you can get into the pose and, you know, really be feeling it, or you can really be into the pose and really feeling it. It's whatever feels good in your body. So we're going to talk about pyramid pose. Is another pose that is another basic pose that every beginner yogi should know. So what pyramid is your legs are in a pyramid shape, and then you're just leaning forward to try to touch your knee. Okay, one of the easiest ways is kind of putting a bend. You know, you got a bend in your back leg and your blocks in front of you, but your front leg is still straight. So you're giving yourself a little bit of a bend, okay? Again, pyramid, your torso is facing forward and your legs are on a parallel train track. So, you know, if you can bring that foot down and you're not touching the earth, you can bring your blocks here. Another way would be to do, you know, the hip flexor stretch would be a good way. If you're on your own and practicing on your own, this would be a good way to come into a super modified pyramid. And you can also bring your blocks here. Okay, so I'll switch over. Okay, so we're on this side with our right foot forward and our left foot back. And again, regular pyramid is bringing it down, keeping a micro bend in this leg. Okay, modified, modified. Okay, super modified. Okay, little bit easier of a stretch for you. Okay, so that's two. So we have low lunge, okay, and we have modified pyramid, all right, with your legs straight. Hey, bending my knee, legs straight. Another one is to come stand. When you're standing in an upward stand, you want to make sure that you're tucking that tailbone under, that you're not arching your back out, you know, with your chest forward and your butt. You want to rotate it under so you're in a nice straight line, okay? So is side bend stretch. So just come, you stand up straight, making sure that your head is over your heart and that your spine is in line with your center body. If there's pressure, zipping your legs up, you can come into hip width apart. Okay, and all side bend is lowering and bringing your hand over to one side. Just breathing. Don't forget to breathe while you're practicing. And then switching to your other side. Okay, if you're having trouble with your side bend, you can bring your chair over. You have my squeaky chair. And you can sit up straight. Make sure you're sitting up straight. Don't lean back in the chair. Keep your spine straight, and you can do the same thing. You drop that left arm, bring that right arm up and over. And at any point, you can look up to your armpit. And then you can switch sides. Just doing these 5 stretches over, say, a week's period of time, you'll see an increase in flexibility. Also, I'm going to move this out of the way so we can do, I'm going to just put it on the end of the mat because I have plenty of mat. So another one is cat-cow. You can bring your blanket underneath your knees if you need to. And you're sitting in a tabletop position. So you need to make sure that your arm bones are directly underneath your shoulders and that your elbows are twisted out. You don't want your elbows facing out. It's just really awkward and it can be injury prone. Make sure your feet are flat on the floor, and then you just want to kind of feel like you're not necessarily sucking in, but just kind of put a little pressure on your navel and pull it up towards your spine. Okay, and what cow is you want to inhale and you're going to arch your back and look forward. Okay, that's all you're doing. And these two moves are such a flexibility helper, especially if you have low back problems. I'm just going to come to tabletop. Low back problems, upper back problems, just the flexibility in your spine will grow tremendously. So you're going to inhale, drop your belly, look up, and then you're going to exhale. And you're going to curve your back and shoulders like you're a scared cat or something. And then inhale. And then exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Okay, I'm going to show you how to do this on the chair. Okay, so I'm going to move so you can see me. All right, so it's the same basic premise, but you want to keep your feet on the floor. So you need to move forward. Okay, I'm kind of short, so I got to move forward a little so that my feet will go on the floor. So what you want to do is you want to inhale and arch your back, okay? Because it's the same premise, you're just not on your knees. And then exhale, grab your knees. You're arching through, bringing your chin to your chest, all while making sure your head is over your heart. So inhale. Head back arched, and then inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Okay, so that is cat-cow position. We're going to look at downward facing dog because this is a pose that everyone says is a resting pose. And this can be really painful on people with weak arms and shoulders. So it's just something that you have to work into as far as, downward facing dog becoming a resting pose. So I am going to show you several different ways that you can do this. I'll show you the initial pose. If you're using a chair, make sure that a couple legs are on the mat so that you don't have any slippage with your chair as you're doing this. I'm going to move my blanket out of the way. Okay. So initially, what downward facing dog is it's almost like an inverted triangle or inverted pyramid pose. So you're just coming onto your mat and you're making sure again that your elbows are facing out and your feet and hands are planted evenly on the floor. And you're not in this position and your head's not like here. It's in line with your arms. Okay, so this is initially downward facing dog. So a modification to this would be to bend your knees and come into this position. You can also bring yourself a little closer to your body by bringing in your blocks as well. So you can position yourself and then come into this position. And this is taking all pressure off of everything. You can also do your downward facing dog normal with your blocks. And it just takes a little bit of that pressure off of your upper back and shoulders. So you can also come into downward facing dog with a chair. A lot of adaptive yoga does this. And what you do is you come into downward facing dog on your chair. You're just resting your hands. You can use the wall as well if you don't happen to have a chair. It's up on my mat. So what we learned today was runner's lunge. Okay, runner's lunge modified. You can either bring your toe or put it flat. Okay, we learned how to do pyramid in a modification. Okay, we learned how to side stretch on both sides, and then we learned how to do cat-cow. You can use your blocks for cat-cow too, so you cow and then you cat. And then we learned how to do downward facing dog. All right, so that is all for today. Like I said, next week we'll learn the other 5. There's 10 basic poses that every super beginner yogi should know. And these are 5 of them, which was low lunge or runner's lunge, pyramid, side bend, cat-cow, and downward facing dog. So this week is all about our emotional self-care. So while you do yoga, just try to bring a little bit of positivity to your mat, because we want to be encouragers, not discouragers in our life. And yoga is all about the practice of positivity in your life. If you can't practice positivity on the mat, you're not going to be able to, you're going to have stress out in your real life, anxiety. Come here to let go of the world. Use this 10 to 20 minutes to let go of what's going on around you. So, like I always say, I hope everybody has a blessed day, and thank you for coming, and I hope that you enjoyed this session and that you learned a little bit something. And join me next week for the same kind of beginner yoga. And again, I say have a blessed day.